great day in Riverside. We are so proud. As the mayor here, I'm so proud of our first responders and our police department for seeing something wasn't right with this situation and making the rescue that they did. We're just glad, and in a day when a lot of bad things went on, it is Valentine's Day, and I'm so proud of these guys and so happy for Heidi Todd and her family. This time I'm going to turn it over to Rick Oliver, our chief of police. He was the first one, well, the second one on the scene. There was a fireman there, too, and he'll answer all the detailed questions for you, but we are really proud of them. Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'd like to say that this is just another example of all the agencies working together. It wasn't just all Riverside. We started about 4 o'clock this afternoon with a railroad crew giving us a suspicious vehicle in a wooded area just off the railroad tracks here in Riverside. Myself and the fire chief, Tim Kuzieski, went to that area and found a young man asleep in the car and a young female in the passenger seat. I knocked on the window and I had him to open the door for me. The young man was very nervous. I've been in law enforcement for about 20 years, so his mannerism was really nervous. So I pulled him away from the vehicle a little ways and talked to him. He did give me his correct name and social. I ran him through NCIC. Then I asked him, or told him, that we were going back to my office. Since we were in a wooded area just across the railroad tracks, we were going to have to walk a good distance. So I asked him to hand me the baby girl, and he said, "Do you mind carrying her?" And I said, "No, I'll be glad to." He handed me the little girl. Once I knew he was going to run. I just had that feeling. Once I got possession of Miss Heidi, she clinged to me. He handed her off and then ran toward the car, cranked it, and started away. We then put out be on the lookout. Aaliyah with the Alabama State Troopers, they were all on the lookout. The St. Clair County Sheriff's Office, we'd like to thank them for their quick response to the area. I'd like to thank Birmingham and Gadsden FBI for responding so quickly. And we also obtained information about the tracking of the vehicle. We were able to track it to the Mississippi line where Aaliyah and also Lauderdale County and Kemper County finally got the suspect stopped and was taken into custody.
So we're Andrew Donnelly with ABC 3340.
Yes.
We're about 360 miles away from Charleston. You know, this isn't something that's necessarily on your radar.
Right.
How quickly did you know that this was Heidi Todd whenever you got her into your custody?
Minutes after I got her into my custody, I started searching, and we were able to obtain that information through Central Dispatch and our city clerk here, which found the information online and was able to respond that to me.
And you did say suspect is in custody.
Suspect is in custody, and the incident happened in South Carolina where the mother was beaten and the child taken.
You believe that's the same person that attacked the mother?
No doubt.
What was Heidi's demeanor, reaction when she just grasped onto you?
She was a little nervous. She did have on an adult hoodie, which was, out of place for a child that age, and adult pajamas, and so that just keyed my interest to get her out of that vehicle.
Can we talk about how we captured the suspect? We were told, did he cross state lines into Mississippi?
He did cross state lines, Lauderdale County through the state of Mississippi, tried to stop him. He led them on a pretty long chase where he was finally apprehended.
Yeah, and just to go over kind of the scene out by the railroad tracks, this is where the car was located. Male in the car, Heidi was in the passenger seat. Can you kind of set the scene for us, what this looked like, please?
Well, it's probably a quarter to a half a mile off of Highway 78, and then we've got a Chevrolet Impala, blue in color, that has Illinois' tag and a white male sleeping under the wheel, and then the little girl was awake in the passenger seat, way out away from where he needed to be. I mean, if he was just going to sleep, he should have probably just slept, maybe at one of the quick marks, or we had a hotel right here. No reason for him to be that far off in the wooded area.
And why did he get out of the car?
I asked him to get out of the car, and I reached in and turned the vehicle off, took the keys and put them on the dash, and then, it happened exactly like I told you.
You guys do great work, but sometimes we get lucky. How fortunate was it that this was reported by the railroad and that he was off in an area he shouldn't have been?
This is a blessing. It is nothing to do with love. Nothing to do with love.
And I'm not saying it is.
The good
work.
Lord put me in the place, as well as the fire chief, that we needed to be to take care of this little girl. His hand was on the little girl.
So even though he got away, you're grateful that you were able to get her?
Yes. Once I got my hands on her, then secondary was getting him into custody, and I was able to, I've worked in law enforcement for several years, and through those several years I've made contact with the FBI agents in Gadsden and the Birmingham area, and they got here within 20 minutes, and we were able to start tracking the vehicle down I-20, and then we were able to get him in custody in Mississippi, thanks to Lauderdale and Kemp counties.
Where's he being held?
Lauderdale County, Mississippi.
No, where? Which facility?
I'm not sure.
What was that conversation like when you called authorities back in South Carolina and said we have Heidi Todd?
They were ecstatic.
When you have a rescue situation like this, and I was told that the fire chief, when he was bringing Todd out of the woods, she said, I was scared. When you hear that as a law enforcement agent, that you've made that rescue, like you said, God had placed you there. How does that make you feel to know you could be there to do that?
Well, to know I've got grandchildren, I've had children, so being able to get her back home is wonderful.
Is he going to be expedited back to South Carolina, or what's going to happen to him?
The FBI will handle that because it's across state lines, and South Carolina, the FBI agents there will be working well with Birmingham and Gadsden, FBI with Lauderdale County, and they'll get him back to South Carolina.
Did he have any connections to this area? Like, what brought him here, and did you even know where he was going?
Well, Riverside is a small city. We have some great guys working here, but it's just the deal where we're right off the interstate, and everybody comes through here. From Atlanta to commuting from Atlanta to Birmingham, everybody comes through here.
Do we know, because we're not positive at this time, if this is the same individual, do we think more than one person was involved in this abduction?
I'm not sure. I don't have that information.
Do we know the relationship at all of this man to?
No, I want to know that, though.
Who's the guy that had been circulated with a face tattoo? And
that you'll have to ask the folks in South Carolina. I don't know why they picked that person, but I know that this young man that I had been released from prison in South Carolina in February the 1st, is what he told me as we were calling. Sir, I'm sorry.
Where is Heidi now?
She's being treated at a medical facility, and I understand that her father will be flying in and taking care of her.
So that will happen within the next several hours?
Yes, sir.
And who took her to the medical facility?
DHR, St. Clair County DHR works real well with us too, and we got them up here to take care of her. She was coloring and eating snacks and drinking chocolate milk, and we're just tickled to death that she's okay.
Did she ever get emotional?
No, she was just fine. Once we got her here and watching some cartoons, and she was good.
Has she talked to her family?
No.
Now, the vehicle that this man was in, this was a stolen vehicle but not reported?
Yes, this vehicle, he ditched a vehicle somewhere in Georgia, and he stole this particular vehicle, and then we jumped him over here, and the vehicle came back stolen out of Georgia earlier Tuesday, I believe,
and this
or
is
late Tuesday.
This is a South Carolina man, and was the vehicle that he had ditched in Georgia, was that from South Carolina?
Yes.
Okay. So one vehicle ditched, and this is the second vehicle he had traveled in.
Did Heidi seem harmed in any way, or was she just shaken up?
Her demeanor was perfect for a little 4-year-old. She talked to me. She watched the cartoons, so she seemed to be fine, but we still wanted to get her checked out by medical.
Now, I've heard that her father is on his way down here, and I believe he's a first responder as well. Are you going to meet him and try to talk to him?
I'd really like to.
Yeah.
Yes, I really like to.
How does this rank up there for moments for you as a chief?
As a chief, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Which hospital?
I'm sorry?
Which hospital?
I'm not at liberty to say. I apologize.
Last question from me. If you do meet her father, what are you going to say to him?
I'm just going to be thankful that I was able to, that the good Lord had me in the right place at the right time.
Not too many times stories end up like this where you find a child. I mean, how does this make you feel personally and also on the job side of things?
Well, most of the time when the child is missing for this length of time, it doesn't end like this, and I'm just thankful to be involved.
Talk to me about the railroad. You said it was a railroad crew. Was it a train passing by that called?
It was some railroad workers. I do have their phone numbers, and I will get in touch with them. They took pictures of me with the suspect, and we were able to transfer those pictures up to South Carolina that we were able to ID this guy. But, we already had him ID'd through a social that I obtained, and but the pictures worked well too. And thanks to the railroad personnel that called us out there. They're as involved as any of the law enforcement. We're just tickled to death that they called us.
What railroad company is that?
I think it was North Fort Southern, but I'm not sure, so don't hold me to that. I believe that's right.
When you asked him, when you first started questioning him, did you ask him where he was going, what he was doing here, whose child it was?
Yeah, I asked him where he was headed, and he told me that they were coming from South Carolina, and then his demeanor was very, very nervous. So I just pulled him a little bit away from the car. I could smell some alcohol, so I was going to just handle it on that end. And then viewing the little girl in the clothes that she was in were not hers, so I had to get my hands on her.
Did you have any idea at that point that this was this missing child, kidnapped child out of?
No, sir, I had no idea. This is just a suspicious vehicle that was in a wooded area. And we checked it out, and this is what it turned out. So it's just like I said, it's another situation where the good Lord put us in the right place at the right time for this child.
Thank you for your work.